machine learning algorithm that we are going to have a look at today is called support vector machines, right? So this is an algorithm that is going to help you do both regression and classification tasks. It's a supervised machine learning algorithm, right? So let's see how this works. Before starting off with the explanation, I just wanted you guys to go through this definition. I know at this point of time, it is not going to make a lot of sense, but once we are done exploring the algorithm, we'll come back to this definition and see if it is making any more sense, right? So a support vector machine is a supervised machine learning algorithm used for both classification and regression tasks. So that is established, right? So though we say regression problems as well, it's best suited for classification. Okay? We'll see how it can be used for regression as well in further videos, right? But today our focus will be on classification tasks. So the main objective of this algorithm is to find the optimal hyperplane. So that there's a quite an interesting term coming up over there, optimal hyperplane, right? In an n-dimensional space that can separate the data points in different classes in the feature space. So just going by this definition, what I am able to understand at this point of time is that when you are in a situation where you have multiple different classes, right? Say these circles being one and the crosses being the other, what my support vector machine is trying to do is it is trying to find some sort of a hyperplane or some sort of a boundary which is able to separate these classes efficiently, right? So that seems to be the case right now. So let's have a deep look at what support vector machine is doing, and then we'll come back to this particular definition and see if it makes any more sense. So I'm going to start off with a bit of a weird example, but I hope you can relate with this. Imagine that I'm doing some sort of an experiment with a bunch of rats, okay? Now what I'm doing is I am recording what their weights, and according to their weights, I have grouped them into categories like non-obese and obese. Right? So what my intention of having a machine learning algorithm is, if someone is giving me the weight of a rat, I should be able to predict whether that rat is obese or non-obese. Right? It's a very simple use case, but let's build upon this and see how we are arriving at support vector machine. So the most basic thing that one can do is put up a threshold, right? Let me call this to be threshold. And I'm saying that any rat that weighs above this particular threshold should be classified as obese, and anything that is less than this should be classified as non-obese, right? That works pretty fine for this kind of a distribution, right? But there are going to be issues when I have a mouse who is very close to this threshold. Let's say over here, right? In this case, by the rule of threshold, this particular new mouse is going to be classified as obese because he lies beyond this particular threshold, right? But just visually looking at it, I can see that that should not be the case, that this particular mice is closer to the non-obese rats over here. So it should be classified as a non-obese rat. But that's not happening. That is the issue with this kind of a random threshold over here, right? And this is something that we can solve by saying that, hey, instead of putting the threshold at this point, let's meet somewhere in the middle and put the threshold over there. That is to say, the extreme data points of the two classes, like that is this one and this one, I'm taking the middle distance over here and planting my threshold at this place, right? So this is something that you can call to be a marginal classifier or a support vector classifier. These two data points over here, that is the extreme data points of the two classes, they are called the support vectors. Right? These two data points. So this does solve the issue of the previous issue that we were having in this case, right? So, but still, it is not the perfect solution because you can still have issues where, let's say, you are having a kind of outlier, right, in this region. You have a non-obese rat, but it weighs quite a lot over here. It could be the case that this rat works out really well, or if it is just a big rat as such, it weighs more, but it is not obese as per se, right? It still belongs to the obese class. So in this case, if I'm going by my support vector classifier and mention or defining my threshold as the midpoint between the extreme data points, in that case, my threshold would come up over here. Right? And you see what issue that is going to make, right? So if you have the situations with outliers over here, my marginal classifier or my support vector classifiers is going to fail in this kind of a situation, right? So it will not be able to handle the situation of outliers. So what do we have to handle this kind of a situation? What we do is we use something that is called a soft marginal classifier. Let's understand what this is. So in a soft marginal classifier, what I'm telling my machine to do is, instead of looking at each data point at its face value, I want it to do some sort of misclassifications as well. That is to say, that I'm telling my machine that, hey, this particular green point, although it is labeled as non-obese, I want you to misclassify this as a obese data point. I want you to consider this to be a obese data point. So I'm sort of allowing my machine to do a bit of misclassification, right? And by doing that misclassification, I am able to arrive back at my optimal threshold, right? So there is a degree of softness, right? So that is something, just a second. That is something that you can, the softness. It is a parameter that you can tune when it comes to support vector machine. So if the softness is more, that basically means that you are allowing your machine to make more and more misclassifications, right? So if you have very overlapping data of this sort, right, where there are outliers, there are different classes, coming up or popping out in amongst these classes. If that is the case, you would want your softness to increase, right? If you have low softness over here, that lowers down the amount of misclassifications that your machine is allowed to do, right? So this is something that you can tune, and this is something that you can control, and the degree of misclassifications that you can machine can do. By this is the very bias and variance trade-off that you deal with in support vector machine. The one option that you have is not allowing any misclassifications at all and end up with a bad threshold over here, right? Or what you can do is you can give some leniency to your machine learning algorithm, give it some permission to misclassify certain data points and come up with a better hyperplane over here, a better threshold over here, right? So that is what a soft marginal classifier does. Understand that when I'm working with a one-dimensional data, my hyperplane that we were trying to work out, that would be a point, right? This particular point. So when I'm working with a two-dimensional data, let's say along with weight, I have height as well, right? I might have some sort of a two-dimensional data over here. In that case, my hyperplane would become a line, right? Similarly, if I'm working in three-dimensional data, my hyperplane will become a plane, right? And so on. So A soft marginal classifier is helping us deal with the issues of these outliers and overlapping data. But what if your data looks like this? Okay. Now over here, what I'm doing is there are a bunch of sick rats in my laboratory, okay, and I'm injecting them with some sort of a medicine. And what I've observed is if the uh, dose of the medicine over here, this is dose of the medicine in milligram, right? So if I'm giving them too less of medicine, it is still not effective, right? And if I'm giving them too much of the medicine, that still is not effective. For the medicine to be effective, it has to be in this particular range, right? So this is the range where it is effective. But this dose or this set of data points is not something that I can linearly separate from the red data points, right? It essentially is a sort of a curved boundary that I would have to put up in order to separate these. But my support vector machine is not something that can come up with a curved boundary as such, right? So in order to deal with this situation, what we have is something called binary support vector machines. So what differentiates support vector machines, or the specialty of support vector machine, is something called a kernel trick. A kernel trick is all about lifting your data to a higher dimension. It sounds all very technical and cool, but let's see what that is. The same data that I had in hand before, the dosages, this is on the x-axis. And let's say on the y-axis, I'm plotting the x squares, right? So this over here becomes my kernel trick. I am transforming the data on the x-axis to x square over here, right? So the resulting data points would look something like this. Your y is equal to x square is going to follow this kind of trajectory, right? And over here, upon lifting my data to a higher dimension, that is the second dimension in this case, what I have achieved is now I will be able to find a plane which is able to linearly separate the two classes, right? So you are able to separate the blue one from the red ones using this kind of a plane, right? That is the usage of the kernel trick. And the usage of kernel trick is what makes support vector machines so powerful, right? So once we have lifted the data set to a higher dimension, we have more probability of being able to fit a linear space through this, right? And that is what our support vector machines do. So let's have a look at that definition once more. Support vector machine is a supervised machine learning algorithm used for both classification and regression. How is it used for regression is something that we will discuss later on, right? The main objective of SVM algorithm is to find the optimal hyperplane, right? So it is trying to find this particular plane which is able to separate the two classes in a proper way. In order to do that, we started off with something called a marginal classifier, but we saw that a marginal classifier is not able to handle the situation where we have outliers in our data sets or overlapping data. In that case, what we do is we use a soft marginal classifier. And soft marginal classifier is allowing us to do some misclassifications so that in longer run, my model is able to generalize to the data in a better manner, right? And then we also saw the cases where we have the situation where our data is not linearly separable. In that case, we will use something called a kernel trick, right? So soft marginal classifier combined with the capability of kernel tricks is what your support vector machine is, right? The kernel trick is what is defining this particular algorithm in a way, you can say, right? The kernel trick is something that is allowing us to lift the data points to a new dimension in hopes that in this newer dimension, will be able to separate the data points using a linear space, right? So that is what support vector machine is all about. I hope you got to learn a bit about it. We will be exploring more around such algorithms in the future. So stay tuned. Right? Thank you.